I've got a lot of ground to cover before I get into Kanshaku Dama Nage Kantaro no Toukaidou Gojuusantsugi. For one thing, I'm only going to say that title once. Most people only refer to it by the title Toukaidou Gojuusantsugi, but it's a little bit ambiguous, so Sunsoft added that whole mouthful. The full title could be translated as Kantaru's Rage at the 53 Stations of the Tokaido. And it's definitely a game that will make you rage. But let's back up and do some history first. The Tokaido was the most important of the 5 highways in Japan's Edo period. It connected Edo, the largest city in Japan where the shogun ruled from, with Kyoto, the traditional imperial capital and where the emperor lived. And as a highway in a feudal era, travel along it was highly restricted. There were 53 checkpoints along the way. By the way, if you're ever in Japan, the one in Hakone is still there. It's a good day trip out of Tokyo, and if you get off at the bus stop right before Hakone, you can walk that last quarter mile on a preserved piece of the road and walk right through that checkpoint. It's a fun thing to do if you want to live out your samurai drama fantasies. In the 19th century, a man by the name of Hiroshige traveled from Edo to Kyoto on the road and then back again. Hiroshige was an artist and he made a lot of sketches of places on the road. Those were turned into woodblock prints, and his 53 Stations of the Tokaido is one of the masterpieces of the art form. There's actually 55 prints in the set. That's because he also included the beginning and the ending. So Sunsoft's game borrowed some historical and cultural significance with its title. The story of the game is that Kantaro has completed his apprenticeship as a fireworks maker, and he needs to travel from Kyoto to Edo where his fiancée Momoko is waiting for him. But the evil merchant Gozaemon wants her hand, and he's putting all of his resources into stopping Kantaro from reaching Edo. So what kind of game is it? I wouldn't really call it a platformer. It's almost a run and gun, except that the gunning is kind of slow. Your weapon are fireworks, and you throw them out in an arc, kind of like Mystery of Atlantis, except these explode when they reach your height or impact the surface. So they're a lot more effective than the bombs in Mystery of Atlantis. Despite the title, the game has 21 stages. There's a few stations covered in each one of them. One of the neat things about Toukaidou Gojuusantsugi is that the stages actually kind of represent the real-world locations. It's all early Famicom graphics, of course, but you can still compare the game to one of Hiroshige's prints and spot the similarities. As you progress through each stage, it actually counts down the distance to the next checkpoint. The units are given in ri, which are about 4 kilometers, so the game is not to scale. There are 2 things that elevate Toukaidou Gojuusantsugi as one of the most difficult games on the Famicom. First, it takes only 1 hit to kill you, and you only have 3 lives to get through all 21 stages. On the positive side of things, the game plays 80% fair with you. There's a constant flow of ninja or other bandits, but the difficult foes appear consistently in the same spots, and there's only a few of those per stage. Any given moment in the game isn't too difficult. It's just that there's a lot of moments, and they all tend to pile up on each other. The other thing, the thing that makes this game abject cruelty, is that it depends on you collecting items to progress. And all of the items are hidden and invisible. You have to bomb the right spot to make them appear. There are 2 key things that you absolutely have to collect. You need these passes to get through the checkpoints. Trying to sneak past or bomb the Shogun's guard is going to end badly for you. The other thing is that you have to have money to pay a toll for a river crossing later in the game. I actually didn't get to that part because it is that difficult. You pretty much have to take copious notes on where the items are hidden, or play with a strategy guide in front of you. There are other items to collect as well. The sword can prevent your items from getting stolen, and talismans can protect you from the ghosts. This rice ball makes you roll up into a ball, and then you bowl over enemies. It's the only way I've found to take out the gun-wielding Gojuusantsugi. Getting the sandals lets you walk on clouds, but when you have them enabled, the enemies can also walk on clouds. I have a few tips to deal with the enemies. For the ninja and the bandits, they always bounce, and so it's often better to run forward to get underneath them than turn around and hit them with a firework. You can't knock out the guy stabbing through the bridge until he jumps up, so don't bother trying. The swordsman will chop your fireworks in half when you throw them at him, so it's better to plant one on the ground and let him run into it. In the right circumstances, you can hit his feet though. Watch out for this guy with the throwing knives. Just take it slow and get in there between the shots. And for dealing with Gojuusantsugi, the best thing I found to do is just run away. If you can get clear of him, you can jump over his bullets pretty easily. One thing you can't do is hang around the stage looking for hidden items. If you take too long to reach the next checkpoint, more and more enemies start showing up. It's not impossible to get through them, but why do it if you don't have to? I think Tokaido Gojuusantsugi shows that Sunsoft is getting better. They're not there yet, but we're seeing some big steps up in graphical style, the music, and it controls pretty well. At least well enough that I don't feel like it's the game's fault when I get hit. Well, most of the time. But doing this game with no continues, and demanding players search entire stages for hidden items to be able to complete it, those are some pretty big flaws. If you want a major challenge, then this is a game for you.